I cannot tell you how pleased we are today to host the launch and how pleased we are to be selected as the middle school that will pilot this new digital program with our students. I would like to take the opportunity to say thank you to New Star and to EverFi for this opportunity. I would also like to acknowledge my Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Sandy Ledford, and my board member, Ms. Carol Haddad, for your continued support and for always being a champion for Newburg Middle School. Thank you so much. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce our superintendent, Dr. Hargens. Dr. Hargens.
Thanks so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Diana, and to all the wonderful students at Newburg Middle for having us here today. And I particularly want to thank Congressman Yarmouth for championing such an important issue. And I'd also like to acknowledge as well Carol Haddad, our board member, and Dr. Sandy Ledford. As educators, we're charged with creating a learning environment that gives every student the opportunity for success. But in this day and age, learning extends beyond the traditional learning environment. The Jefferson County Public School District has been proactive in this area for years, providing administrators, teachers, and students with resources designed to make our students skillful, responsible users of technology. We thank New Star and EverFi for this partnership and its challenge to the community to become active participants in the education of our students in the digital world. In our recent organizational review, our reviewers called the ability to use technology well as the fourth R. Technology may change our approach, but the mission hasn't changed for Jefferson County Public Schools, providing all of our students with the opportunity for academic success. Thank you for being here, and it's an honor to host this wonderful event.
We're here today because we believe education is the single most important investment we can make in the future success of our country. And for far too long, our education system has failed to take advantage of the tremendous opportunities presented by new and emerging technologies. One of the first things I did when I got to Congress 5 years ago was to introduce legislation to encourage more innovation in education. It was signed into law and led to what is called Digital Promise, an exciting national initiative I launched with Education Secretary Arne Duncan last fall at the White House. It actually has another name, which if you get to choose between remembering Digital Promise and the National Center for Research and Advanced Educational and Informational Technologies, you choose Digital Promise. The Digital Promise focuses on research and implementation of cutting-edge technologies to benefit classrooms across the country. Here at home, I'm also excited about Digitalville, a project to make Louisville a national center of educational and informational sciences and to advance new learning technologies. As we move toward that and other investments in digital technology, we need to make sure that students understand the responsibilities of citizenship in the digital world. That's where My Digital Life comes into play. Today, literacy is not just about reading. It's about using the internet and technology in a productive and safe way. We all know the stories, they're incredible and they're tragic, about cyberbullying that occur across the country and certainly here in Kentucky as well. While students use the internet for everything from basic research to contacting family and friends, it's also important that they understand how information travels and how to protect themselves and how to discern what is good information and bad information. The more we enable young people to take full advantage of every digital learning opportunity, the more we'll ensure that America has the future workforce to remain a global innovation leader. This kind of public-private partnership, pairing education with innovation, will help get us there. And this is a classic example of, I think, what's going to be a model as we move forward, pairing the private sector with the public sector in meeting some of the challenging situations we have in our society. So now I'd like to introduce Tom Davidson, CEO of EverFi, which developed this program and is dedicated to promoting digital literacy and understanding in our schools. Thanks again for having me.
Thank you, Congressman. We are just so privileged to be here. Principal Hicks and the superintendent and others, really our first thanks goes to you. We feel privileged, and we work in 3,600 schools across the country, and every time we go into them, we feel like we've really been invited into someplace special. We think that schools are really are the heart of the community. Everything that's great that comes out of it, comes into the community, comes out of these schools and the teachers that work here, and we're privileged to work, and we are so fired up for what we can do in the Commonwealth here. We're kind of weird folks at EverFi. We're a bunch of Red Bull. We're not used to the ties, and we drink a lot of Red Bull. We sit in basements and dark rooms, and our engineers are like vampires. They come out once every couple of weeks, and you throw them some food, and they go back in. But we are. What we really do is when we started this company, we got in an RV and drove across the country and just talked to teachers and students and kids about the issues that were really facing them on a daily basis. And more, what became very clear were these issues, the good and the bad of technology, were governing a big part of their day. These kids are digital natives, these students. They didn't grow up like we grew up. Their lives are being lived very much in public, which can cut both ways, as we all know. And what New Star has done, and I'll talk about New Star and Lisa Hook and her team, and really, most importantly, the employees that drive that business that have allowed New Star to have the money to step up and do something actually extraordinary that has never been done before, which is provide this program to every single school in the Commonwealth, regardless of ability to pay and ability to afford it, which is extraordinary and expensive and really exciting. So Lisa, to you and your team, thank you so much. The data is fascinating on this. What My Digital Life really is a many-hour course that takes students through and puts them, as you'll see on the screens, in really interesting situations. They may be dealing with texting and driving, being cyberbullied, kind of posting inappropriate material. And when we were growing up, you kind of scribbled stuff on the bathroom wall, and you passed the note to the kid, and that was fine because somebody eventually came along and painted over that. But Congressman Yarmouth is an incredible leader in Congress, but my 4-year-old son would run roughshod over you with an iPad, and so it is it's what students are, the way they're interacting is fascinating, and so the difference is that these things are permanent, they're referenceable. And we need to be just taking our best shot at explaining and putting them in situations before they're in real life situations. And that's a lot of what this does. Texting and driving, there's a fascinating thing. 39% of teens in America have sent a sexually suggestive message. 3,000 texts sent on average by a student a month. So that's the downside, right? So we're going to get after that, and we're going to put Kentucky way at the forefront and leadership in that. But the other piece of this thing is that this stuff is great. So what technology has the ability to do is put answers around career readiness, jobs, internships, FAFSA, applying for student loans, research around that research report that used to, that made me gray, 10 years earlier than I probably should be. And the ability to access that just a few keystrokes away and unlocking the power of the web really highlights what this program is going about, which is the digital divide isn't as much today about whether students have access to technology, because actually it's pretty good, and the congressman is actually, and the FCC actually deserve a lot of credit for the initiatives that they've done on both sides of the aisle over many years. The challenge is students are learning in school often very different than the way they're learning at home, and we need to bridge that gap and talk to them in a language that they really get. So what's being announced today is extraordinary in the way that our goal is to certify thousands and thousands and thousands of students across Kentucky, and how to empower them using technology, but also how to protect them as they use technology. And you know, New Star, this is New Star's program. We're kind of behind the scenes trying to help them get this out into the Commonwealth. But this is just the first of what we hope will be many generations of students. And we think about the impact of almost the compounding effect of students kind of graduating from these programs year after year after year, and the fact that any school across the Commonwealth could have it tomorrow if they want it, based on the generosity of New Star and its employees, is something really extraordinary. So thank you for having us. Thank you for the chance to just talk to you a little bit about what we've built, and we're happy to follow up with anyone. You'll see lots of things and information and videos about what we're doing, but this is a really great day for the Commonwealth, and thank you for letting us be a part of it.
Thanks, Tom. And I have to say, Tom is being very modest about EverFi. The folks at EverFi and Tammy Wincup particularly led the creation of this product, which we think is just absolutely extraordinary. We've never seen anything like it. So we're extremely grateful to be partnered with them. Thank you, Superintendent Hargens. Thank you, Principal Hicks. And most importantly, thank you, Congressman Yarmouth, for everything you're doing in Washington for this kind of an effort. And thanks most particularly to the students of Newburg Middle School. We hope that you guys love the program, and we hope that you tell kids in other schools that they need to do the program as well. Because what we would like to see at New Star is Kentucky becoming the powerhouse for science, technology, engineering, and math. We need more people in Kentucky who are not only safe on the internet, which is one of the key goals of this program, but feel facile with using the internet, how it works, how they can set up businesses, how they can learn quantum physics, how they can fix a car, or quantum mechanics, I guess. But we need more of that. And it really starts earlier than 8th and 9th grade. But 8th and 9th grade tends to be the age at which most kids decide whether they're going to go into math and technology or whether they're going to pursue another career track. Why are we here today? We love Kentucky. We love everything about Kentucky. We have 80 employees here in Louisville, and we're hoping to expand that over the next couple of years. They have shown us what an incredible state this is, how enthusiastic the people here are, how supportive the government is for employers. So we intend to be here not only as an employer, but an active participant in the community. Why are we interested in My Digital Life? Well, we're actually the technology behind the technology. Every single day, we complete every single phone call in North America, every single one of those 3,000 text messages that your kids are sending. We have just begun to enable the purchase and download of digital movies, and we process about 15% of all traffic on the internet worldwide. So you may not see us, but we're actually the oil that makes the entire world communicate with each other. And we need more people who understand what we do, and we need them to come from Kentucky. So you focus on that program instead of looking at me, because we need all of you guys growing up, graduating from UK, or perhaps Duke, my alma mater. Had to put in a pitch there. And come on over to New Star. So thank you very much for having us.